Welcome back. You're now watching the political segment of the weekend show. The topic of discussions are the elections in 2020, Edo and Ondo. As we all know, the Independent National Electoral Commission a month ago scheduled the elections of Edo and Ondo for September and October this year. The Commission announced that the 19th of September specifically and the 10th of October specifically are the Edo and Ondo state elections. In the timetable for the election, activities for Edo state governorship election, INEC stated that the conduct of the primary elections and resolution of disputes arising from primaries would be between the 2nd of June to the 27th of June, while campaign would kickstart on the 21st of June. INEC fixed 17th of September for the end of campaign, stating that Sections 99, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, provides 90 days for the commencement of campaigns by political parties and the end of same 24 hours before the polling day. For Ondo State, the Commission fixed 2nd of July to 25th of July for the conduct of primary elections and resolutions of disputes arising from the primaries to enable political parties democratically nominate candidates for the elections as required by Sections 87 of the Electoral Act 2010. So joining us in today's program to discuss matters arising in Edo and Ondo, we have
Osarodion Judith Edosa. She is a gender and politics expert. Welcome to the weekend show.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's also my pleasure to welcome Anthony Ehilebo. He's a legal practitioner and the head of new media for the People's Democratic Party.
Thank you for having me.
Finally, former aspirant from the APC in Edo State, Dr. Blessing Agbomhere. Welcome to the weekend show.
Thank you.
Let's start off, ladies and gentlemen, discussing some of the matters arising within these political parties. I'll start with the obvious, Dr. Blessing Agbomhere. The Federal High Court recently suspended the national chairman of your party, and he got another judgment in Kano asking him to stay in place. What is the current situation on the ground now regarding the leadership of the All Progressive Congress?
You see, the truth of the matter is that Comrade Agbomhere remains the chairman of the All Progressive Congress, going by the recent judgment by the Federal High Court in Kano. And I can tell you that the judgment of the learned judge from the FCT High Court was an error in law. An error in law in the sense that Article 13 of the APC Constitution states the powers of the organs of the party. And Article 21 of the Constitution of the party states the power to discipline members of the party and the procedure to discipline members of the party. If a ward executive suspends a chairman, that suspension is not wuru. It has to go through all the stages and organs of the party until it is ratified by the neck of the party. That is when it becomes suspension. And so long as it's not ratified by the neck, it's not a suspension. And what he did was like a man who delves into the marriage between the husband and the wife. And the precedent that judge has laid down is that an outsider can actually come to seek the divorce between the man and the wife, when that right is only restricted to the man and the wife. So, in line with the judgment we got from the court, that was justice. And again, if you look at that judgment, the High Court, the FCT High Court, cannot give directive to the police. And when you want to join issues with federal institutions, the Constitution gives jurisdiction to the Federal High Court. So which means the police cannot even implement the judgment of the State High Court against the judgment given by the Federal High Court. So as we speak, Agbomhere remains the unshakable, unbeatable chairman of the APC. Thank you.
Anthony, as a lawyer, this jurisdiction issue, we've seen cases where a judge rules in one state and someone can go file another case in another state and the other judge can rule, which invalidates the last ruling. From the legal angle, does the court actually have a role to play in the disciplinary functions of a party? And the play around jurisdiction, how does that really affect legal precedents?
Well, it's interesting. My brother seems to think that one judge is right and another is wrong. And just for clarity, both courts have concordant jurisdiction. So they have at par jurisdiction. what should concern us as Nigerians right now is the abuse of the court process. Where a matter is in court, you are aware, you are a party to that matter, and you go to another court of coordinate jurisdiction. You are allowed to go to a higher court. The next thing to have done was to go to the appeal court or appeal to that same court. You are allowed to appeal to that same court. Like when I was discussing prior to that, I said, why is it that the chairman of the APC did not approach the court to vacate? And it's not as if the order that was given was a judgment. It was a ruling. An injunction, a temporary injunction to preserve the rest and say, stop parading yourself as chairman of the APC. But it made mockery of our judicial system. Everybody everywhere is talking today and saying that it is now clear that people can procure judgments from any court they feel that is favorable to them. But this again goes to the administrative issues within the APC. And if they are careful to have learned through history, they will see that the PDP has gone through this particular incident as of 2016, 2017, when we had the issue of Ali Modu Sharif. To remove a national chairman of a party unsettles the party in performance, unsettles the party in organization, because you can never tell the outcome. What if tomorrow, whatever the chairman has authorized right now, the court finds that he is not a valid chairman? By the way, the right people to even remove or suspend anybody is at the ward level. So it is surprising that the national chairman of a party does not have control of his ward. I dare say that these are the issues that have led to the several instances we have seen of the APC miscalculating itself, both in Zamfara, Rivers, and in Bayelsa, which, although slightly different because that was more of due diligence issue that they should have performed. But we take this back to your question of the courts and coordinate jurisdictions. And I'll tell you that this is a problem that the NJC itself has to look at. But not just the lawyers involved, the parties themselves that have decided to take our courts as punching bags and ridicule them. Because Nigerians who are not even learned are asking questions that why are two courts of coordinate jurisdictions giving different judgments?
Anthony, I'm very glad that you've been buttressing on this point. I want to bring you in here, Judith. We've seen what happened in Zamfara. We've seen what happened in Rivers. And to the public, those of us that are non-party, saying it's funny that the same thing is playing out in our eyes again. So with the faction going on within the APC, what goes to say that, you know, anybody is even going to be the likely, you know, candidate of the party in Edo State or even in Ondo State with the chairmanship, you know, being in such disarray. So how do you reckon these issues can be resolved? Because are the people going to keep on going to the polls to vote for a candidate, then the court overturning this judgment, the will of the people, and we're having, you know, Supreme Court governors, as they are popularly tagging it now. So what can we do to fix this issue?
So I think it's, for me as a neutral party here, I'm not a member of the APC or the PDP, I would like to make that clear. It's very sad, really, because now we have a situation where Nigerians are not being able to vote those who do, or rather they vote those who they want to vote, but at the end of the day you have courts now vacating those votes and then putting someone who the people haven't voted for. It's a very sad situation. It's confusing. So what I have noticed in Edo and Ondo, because those are the two states we're speaking about, is the fact that it's not even the opposition party that is the problem right now. We have infighting. So in APC, you have Akeredolu, who is most likely not going to come back as the candidate of the party. It's very clear. The party members think he has been involved in so many anti-party activities, and the chances that he will come back is, you know, slim to none. And then you have in Edo State where, you know, Oshomole and Obaseki are, what I would say, having a running gun battle right now. Everything is so confusing for Nigerians, and the fact is, like my colleague here said, if they do not get it right at this point and get, you know, the chairmanship right and get the candidates right, you have a situation where APC might win at the polls, but PDP somehow emerges as winner at the end of the day through a court. PDP right now, in my opinion, sorry to say, doesn't look like a viable opposition in any of both states. I don't see any PDP candidates, standing out right now. But in APC in Edo State, you have Udubu, you have, Izeyamu, you have Ayavare, you have Ogenwonye. We have people who people can tell are in the running. In PDP, we have no one. So if PDP does not get its act together, you might not have PDP coming up with a viable candidate, but somehow PDP might emerge a winner if both parties do not, if APC does not get its act right at this point. So for me, it's sad because I see myself as someone from the NGO sector from the outside, and it's sad that the voices of Nigerians are being, somehow being shelved. And in the long run, it's not just about the fact that the voices of Nigerians are being stifled. It's the fact that politicians are playing us, in my opinion. They are not stupid when they try to have all these elections as by-elections. It's on purpose. It's to stop Nigerians all going to the polls at the same time. And the fact that when you all go to the polls at the same time, it's hard to deploy all of those resources, all of those state forces to get what they want. By the time you have Edo in September 2020, you have Bayelsa, another by-election, you have Anambra, another by-election. These politicians are doing this on purpose so that they can have little pockets of states they can deploy all of their resources to, all of the police, all of the money, all of the vote buying, all of the violence, and then winning these elections by force. So politicians are really, in my opinion, playing Nigerians at this point.
That's a very strong statement.
So if I may continue from here, you see, my colleague here made a statement of Oshomole, the national chairman, not having control of his word. See, that again buttressed the judgment given by the FCT High Court. Now, how did the court know that those who brought an application to that court were from Oshomole's ward? Oshomole's word is intact. Oshomole's word, all the ESCOs, all the ESCO members, all the members of that party in that ward are supporting Oshomole. So those who came to that FCT High Court were not members of the APC.
Your national secretary of the APC, Victor Gaidon, I hope I'm pronouncing his name, Honorable Victor Gaidon, has buttressed the point of the Federal High Court, Abuja, that the chairman remained suspended due to the petition he received from the ward, local government and state levels in Edo State.
You need to understand the problem there.
Okay.
That man you just mentioned, his name is being sponsored by Rotimi Amechi. He's not the artist secretary of our party. He's not qualified to be. The party, the neck of the party, have already identified and endorsed an artist secretary in the person of Waziri Bulama. So it is Waziri Bulama that should speak for the party and not Gadon, who is representing the interests of Amechi at the secretariat.
So when did, so let's backtrack now. So when did Gadon...
The ministers, everybody is fighting.
Let me explain something to you. You know why some of them are disagreeing. See, let me tell you something. You know what they are confronting? They are not fighting Oshomole. Let us get that clear. What they are fighting is the supremacy of the party. Oshomole has only come as the national chairman to say, we have suffered electoral defeats and misdominy in some states. We don't want this anymore. For that reason, we have to strengthen the instrumentality of the party to ensure that party supremacy is observed by all the members of the party. The likes of Amechi and some other governors you just mentioned, they don't want that and they don't like that. And again, Amechi is not happy because recently, Ovie Agege was endorsed as the leader of the South-South APC caucus. So for that reason, Amechi and co. and some other bedfellows, one who are not happy with the supremacy of the party that Oshomole is trying to implement, and some other interest, are not happy with the comrade governor, who is now the national chairman of our party. So what am I trying to say here is that, whether they like it or not, what we see today is just like a storm in a teacup. Oshomole remains the national chairman of the party, and now we are now urging him to deploy the powers required of his office to resolve these issues.
What
Now,
powers?
and again, let me tell you something. Even when you talk about Godwin Obaseki from Edo, who is one of the arrowhead that is being used by these persons, I had run the primaries of this party in 2016 with Godwin Obaseki. Godwin Obaseki knows that he's not qualified for re-election. He's only trying to do all these things he's doing to blackmail Oshomole, to adopt him, to support him.
Why is he not qualified for elections?
Let me tell you something. Are you aware that the certificates of Godwin Obaseki are in question?
Let us not.
And see, let me tell you something. And he knows.
Okay, I want.
So there are so many issues.
Let's give other people a chance
I'll make
to.
some clarifications
Okay.
here. I mean,
Be brief when you make such clarifications.
I
It took a long
I
time
didn't
when you
time you. My sister here made a comment that PDP has not. I mean, we have people like Igbinedion, who is sitting 3-time House of Rep member. We have Mr. Riceman, Kenny Maswagmon, who is very popular across the state. We have Gideon Ikine, who is also very popular across the state. But I'll tell you what PDP is not doing that APC is doing. APC is in disarray. As I speak to you today, PDP is having its LGA congresses across the state. We had our ward congresses. There were 1 or 2 issues. The party stepped in and have resolved it. And today we are doing the LGA. Next week we'll do the state congresses. And that is the progression you have to follow to arrive at a candidate.
But I would say PDP is not getting its comms right.
No,
people do not know who these people are.
You see,
And
communication.
if you leave it too late to the elections,
Let me. You know, you're an NGO person. I'm a politician. So I think when it comes to politics,
we trust. I'll defend you
when
on
it
this
comes to
point.
politics, I think I'll probably be able to maybe guide a little bit.
30 seconds.
So you see, the PDP itself in Edo State, contrary to what the APC is doing, it's a more organized opposition. It needs to get its act right. First of all, get a candidate. And once the candidate emerges to popular process, the party, everybody will fall in line.
Okay.
And when you have a party that is in disarray like APC has, both in Ondo and Edo State, and they lose election in September, I hope they won't come crying. Because this is where we have seen this. It happened in Zamfara, it happened in Bayelsa, it happened in Rivers. And we're going to see it happen in Edo and Ondo again.
Well, gentlemen, lady, thank you so much for your time. Unfortunately, we don't have more time to delve into these issues as I would have hoped for, but we would love to have you again closer to the elections. That's it for today's program. Follow us on social media at Weekend Show NG on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Visit our website, www.weekendshowng.com. Helping us to sign out, we have a lovely saxophonist. Take it away.